Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Friday, August 7th, and I have a very quick update to give you the latest on stimulus negotiations as they're happening today between Pelosi, Schumer, Mnuchin, and Meadows. I'm going to talk about the new unemployment numbers that came out today and how to interpret those. We went a bit deeper to look at what that actually means. Is that positive or negative for the country? And what impact will that have on the stimulus deal that is still being negotiated? And today is the day we're all hoping for a final decision to be made. All four of these folks, Pelosi, Schumer, Mnuchin, and Meadows, are meeting now, and we hope they are coming together. Thanks as always for subscribing and supporting us and staying up to date on the news. Let's dive in. First, I'm going to start off on where we're at as of Friday afternoon. Pelosi, Schumer, Mnuchin, and Meadows are meeting again right now. Last night, they met for 3 hours in the evening, that's Thursday evening, and Pelosi and Schumer agreed to lower the total package amount. That was a big deal because for the longest time, Pelosi had stuck with $3 trillion as the number, and she wasn't budging on that. She offered last night to lower the relief package by $1 trillion if Republicans would meet in the middle. So basically $2 trillion would be the new number. And they got to that not by eliminating programs, but by changing some of the dates on the extensions. We don't know the exact specifics, but it looks like they were able to propose $1 trillion less by changing some of the length of the unemployment assistance and some of the other programs to make them not as long. At the same time, Mnuchin and Meadows are saying that President Trump is considering executive action today to address unemployment insurance, evictions, student loans, and a payroll tax cut. And that's important because he has been doing lots of executive orders. For example, yesterday, he issued an executive order to ban TikTok if they are not owned by a U.S. company in 45 days. In 45 days, if that's not the case, they will be banned from the U.S. So this goes to the point that Trump is taking a lot of executive action, and potentially he could do a few things to help here. Although payroll tax cuts wouldn't really help people immediately. That might take a month or so to actually implement with the IRS. It doesn't really help people who need cash in their pockets now. But anyway, in the negotiations last night, the White House rejected the Democrats' offer for $2 trillion stimulus price tag. Here's the news from CNN, and this was a big move. Basically, again, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer announced at a news conference on Friday that they had offered to go down $1 trillion from the top line number of $3.4 trillion if Republicans would go up to $1 trillion. Again, that's a pretty big concession, but the White House didn't go for it. And Mark Meadows, when asked about if this type of deal was in the cards, said, "I don't think so." He goes on to say, "I don't know that that's a reduction as much as she is just changing the time frames. I don't think she's come off with her number other than just made a shorter time," right? So that was the deal. And here's what they say. Pelosi and Schumer suggested on Friday that they would not be open to a number lower than $2 trillion, arguing that such a plan would fail to win over a sufficient number of Democrats in both chambers. But Pelosi and Schumer lead the Democratic Party, so by saying that, it seems more like a negotiation tactic to say, hey, even if we went for it, I don't think we could get our other Democrats on board. Again, shifting the blame on everyone else in the Democratic Party. But I want to talk about this important jobs report and what this means, because this has a direct impact on the stimulus negotiations that are happening now. Okay, this came out this morning, said 1.8 million jobs had been added in July. Here's how it looks. You can look back to July 2016 and you see the slow increase, then of course the massive decline in March, and it's gone up a little bit, okay? We're still at 10% unemployment, a little over. It was 11% unemployment in June, but there's an important caveat to this. This data was collected middle of July, okay? What was happening in the middle of July? Here's what was happening in the middle of July. Our highest ever case counts in the U.S., July 16th, we had 75,697 new cases in the U.S. I mean, look at the chart. That was the highest day ever, but we were averaging around 75,000 for a week straight. And this is when states started shutting down again, either pausing or reversing course. So any gains that were made mid-July were either stalled or in some cases reversed through end of July up until now, even though we do see that the average is back down to 60,000 daily cases, closer to where it was beginning of July. So when you look a bit deeper, it's hard for us to know exactly. We won't know until next month, but even though we saw some gains, it's likely that they were not as good as we expected. So that still points to the fact that there are still massive amount of unemployed people in this country, and they need help. And I'm not even talking about the small businesses who drastically need help. There have been numerous articles today about small businesses, and I'm going to talk about the EIDL bill as well and where that's at. But I just want to show you, here's what some economists predict could happen and if $600 unemployment benefit doesn't get passed. So here is the predicted consumption impact of alternative unemployment benefit supplements. Okay, basically this chart shows the effect on consumer spending if people do not get more unemployment. Okay, if there is no supplement on unemployment, consumer spending will go down by 4%. If $200 supplement, by 3%, 400, 1%, 600 is the baseline here. That's huge when you think about how much consumer spending has already been affected, how many businesses have been affected, how many businesses are going to have to close, and they're wondering if it's even worth reopening or trying to reopen, or if they should look for something else, like get employed somewhere else. We've talked to a lot of people who are having that very difficult conversation. Some have been in business for decades, if not years, and they're having to grapple with the reality that they may not be able to reopen again, especially if they don't get more small business funding. So this is the picture with unemployment. This would suggest, again, what the Democrats are pushing for, that we need to get this passed. And the sad thing is that Democrats and Republicans both agree that supplements are needed. It's more a question of how long and the exact amount, whether it's 400 or 600. So they agree on that, and they agree on stimulus checks, $1,200 stimulus checks, and they agree on support for local and state governments, okay? Those are things they agree on, but they're still stuck on the total value amount. Again, from CBS, another repeat of Democrats holding firm on their $2 trillion offer. Here's what Chuck Schumer said today. He said that Republicans are looking for a Band-Aid when surgery's required, okay? This is what he said. And this is a message that Pelosi and Schumer consistently say. Republicans need to understand the gravity of the situation. The numbers that we see in jobs reports are lagging. The infection numbers are often lagging. We don't see the true negative effect on our economy and the health of the country. We need to wake up and see that effect and approve this funding. And that starts with individuals and unemployment, and also should include small business funding. Okay, no new news on this bill, the $80 billion extra for EIDL grants and loans, but we're tracking it. We're still writing senators. Thanks to all of you that continue to request that we write on your behalf. It's making a difference, and we do hope that all this momentum and the hashtag EIDL has been seen by the senators, has been seen by Pelosi and Schumer, and we hope that Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin also are aware of this side of things as well, okay? Governments need help, individuals need help, and small businesses and entrepreneurs need help. That's today's news. Again, they're meeting right now. We hope that today something is agreed upon. We'll keep you posted. If anything is agreed upon today, we'll immediately let you know. Thanks so much for subscribing and liking this video so others see this. We believe this is so important for all of us to be aware of and understand exactly what's going on and what both sides are saying. As always, stay healthy and stay well. Take care.